Some of the prices that we currently have in agriculture are at decades long highs. So is it because the world is running out of food, or is there something else going on? Is it drought-induced prices? So let's go back a little and look at more historical prices. This study here on cotton was based on a decade-long average from 1993 to 2003. So some of these numbers are very low. And again, we can't just say cotton. There's a difference between cotton in the Delta, cotton in Texas, cotton in Arizona, cotton in Egypt. But just in generality, looking at the numbers, we're looking at something where we are more than doubling the bottom line profit of a farmer based on a 20% yield increase and a 50% reduction in fertilizer. Now, those were our assumptions. There wasn't a study showing that. The numbers on the left are from that decade-long study, and here's where we're adding on 20% yield increase, 50% reduction in fertilizer. Okay, are those good assumptions? Let's look at some of the actual studies. Here's another university in China. Now, the yield increase was 22%, but the cotton farmer actually gets paid on the amount of lint, 28%, well above the 20% number that we used. So we're doing more than doubling the bottom line profit for this farmer. And here's one of the greatest revenue increases of any of our studies. This is a cotton farmer in North Carolina. With cotton, you get paid not just for the amount of pounds, but the quality, the whiteness, the length, the strength, a number of factors go into that quality determination. These are numbers from the actual bale report of the gin. This is the conventionally grown numbers. This is the Sumagrow numbers. Now look at the weight of the bales. Here, conventional was higher, about the same, a little bit less, much higher, about the same, and higher. But 450 on average versus 250 on average. A significant difference in the revenue based on just the quality of the product. They also had a 17.9% increase in the quantity of the cotton, and they completely eliminated conventional fertilizer. They did use manure. So that was an outstanding result. Now, I've been presenting very good numbers. Let me show you the worst study that I've received this year. This is a study done on Penn State University in a corn trial. Now, a couple things. One, we tell people to reduce fertilizer 50%. This particular PhD understood that to be 100% on the first treatment, 0 on the second, was a 50% reduction. Not the way that we recommend it. We want 50% reduction on the first, 50% reduction on the second. He also noted that weather was a significant factor in the study, that they were affected by the drought as well. But the study showed that there was no yield difference between grower standard of 100% fertilizer and a 50% reduction in fertilizer and Sumagrow. The yield was exactly the same. But because the fertilizer costs so much more than Sumagrow products, that fertilizer reduction, the farmers still had a net profit increase of over $100. In fact, they did another replication of this study when they used 0 fertilizer and just Sumagrow. Now the yield went down a little bit, but the net profit actually went up even higher because of the savings in fertilizer. So, in this case, a tie is a win. We had the same yield, but we saved more money on the fertilizer. So I only half joke when I talk about the benefits of our product that 9 out of the top 10 is yield increase. There's not much you have to remember. There's a lot of technical information being presented today, so part of my job here is to distill it and bring it down to something that we can all remember. Higher yield, every field. If there's one takeaway that you have from this entire conference, this is what I want you to remember. Sumagrow increases crop yields. Now let's go through some of our benefits. This is overall. There will be some breakout sessions on some of these individual topics, but some things are important enough that you have to hear it more than once. Yield increase is at the top. Definitely the number one benefit. Fertilizer reduction. There are a couple of niche markets, turf, golf courses, etc., where the fertilizer reduction is the primary benefit and yield is insignificant. They don't want more grass on the golf course. They want the fertilizer reduction. But one of those two benefits will be the primary reason for an end user to want to use Sumagrow. There are some cases, though, we're coming down the pyramid, the water and pesticide reduction could be the most important. There's a number of places where water is at a very high premium. That may mean the difference between growing a crop and not growing a crop. Pesticide reduction. There are some crops, bananas and coffee, where the farmer can spend literally hundreds of dollars, $600, $800, $1,000 an acre just on pesticides. So if we can cut that down, cut it in half, that's significant. Now, some of the other minor benefits that we have that won't be talked about too much during this conference, but the ability to better withstand stresses, transplant, disease, wind, drought, frost. Dr. Leith has showed some great photos on the tobacco during the frost. We've seen a number of photos of the drought. The transplant stress is significant. Disease, again, we've talked about that a fair amount of time. Again, coming down the pyramid, faster and higher germination rates, earlier maturation. We have farmers that get paid more per bushel because they're the first ones to harvest the crop. We have increased nutrient levels, Brix, chlorophyll, protein. These are all things that have been verified by third-party independent studies. And again, there are some special situations where preventing fertilizer runoff can avoid fines, so that's it's an actual financial benefit of the product. That we're increasing the organic matter in the soil. That could make your farmland worth more.